welcome to another episode of Friend Outdoors.
On today's episode, Walter and Mark join Bob Harris, and they're in pursuit of a spring gobbler. Bob has never got a spring gobbler before, and our team moves in and set up their blind and their decoys in the dark. Mark will be in the blind with Bob, running a camera, and Walter will run a second camera from outside the blind in a different location. The guys have roosted a tom, and as dawn approaches, the tom begins to gobble from the roost. Our team is close, and they can see the tom on the limb. Here's what happens. As dawn arrives, our team can see the tom on the limb. When this tom shows up early, Bob can't get on him quick enough. This group of gobblers have made their way up out of the hollow onto the bench, but unfortunately for us, they're behind the blind. Initially, the guys continued to call, hoping to pull these toms from behind the blind to in front of the blind where the decoys are at. This footage here was captured on Walter's camera as he's about 40 yards away from the blind, sitting against a tree. Eventually, the guys stop calling to let these gobblers drift off. Then they stand up, turn the blind around, set back down, and start calling again, hoping these toms will come back in the gun range.
Well, we had a real good hunt this morning. Had one bird come in really early, and Bob couldn't get a shot at him. And it got quiet for, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. We got some birds really gobbling up the holler. They started answering, here they come. These three big ones come in behind us. Well, we had the blind facing the wrong way. So our second camera's got a lot of footage of them gobbling 20 yards behind the blind, and we can't do nothing about it. So I shut up, let them walk over the hill. We turned the blind around, sat back down, started calling, and these three big ones come up. Bob made a great shot on this turkey. He dropped immediately. The one bird went to the right, so I turned the camera on him and aimed and shot. I seen him go down, but then I noticed Bob was bleeding pretty bad there where the scope got him in the forehead. So I kind of stayed back.
Let's see that.
That's all right.
So I kind of stayed back there with the camera and Bob, and the other birds got up on us, so we're going to look for him some more. But Bob got a real nice turkey. That was something to see him come up like that gobbler.
Oh man.
Right in front of the camera.
Yeah, that's almost.
Tilt your head here. Let's see your face. There you go.
That's all right. We can do it.
We got to know who you are now.
Well, ain't that funny?
He's a real good bird. He's got some good spurs on him. Here, I don't know if you can see it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
He's got some nice hooks.
How old do you think that bird is?
If I was guessing,
Hold
he
his
might
hooks.
be. I'd say he's 3-year-old because they're curving pretty good. They're starting to curve up and get pointed and sharp. So he's, I'd say a 3-year-old. But now, this is your first longbeard?
Yep,
First longbeard, so it was a great morning.
it was.
First long beard and first scope cut.
Yeah, first scoop cut. I told him I did that because I'm shooting left-handed. Now, how'd I cut this off?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I'm just glad it's not that serious.
Yeah, me too.
So, we're going to look for this bird some more, maybe get on another one here in a little bit.
Okay, what happened to them turkeys?
Well, two expert turkey hunters took this idiot turkey hunting. And he didn't shoot the first one that come, and they call him in with the 3s or 4s. He tells me to shoot the middle one, which is behind a tree. I leaned out around there and shot it, and also
Get it that way.
got scoped. I knew it was hurt when the blood started running off the end of my nose.
We got another one, a scope kill.
But it didn't hurt. It really didn't hurt.
It
So
ain't too bad. It's still a circle.
quit bleeding.
Yeah, it's quit.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Here's a quick recap. On this particular hunt, we went with Bob Harris. Bob had never been on a spring turkey hunt before, or at least been successful before. So when we went out in the dark, we got our blind set up and we put our decoys out because Bob did have a bird roosted. Well, when daylight come, we could see the bird in a tree. We was very close to him. So he gobbled on the roost. We got some of that footage for you. He flew down pretty early, and he was out in front of us. I did film him some as I was in the blind with Bob, and Walter had a second camera about 30 yards or so, 40 yards away, as he sat against a tree, against the bank. Bob couldn't get on this bird. Eventually it drifted off. You could tell he was really fired up. He did a lot of gobbling. When I look back at this video, I laugh. I made a lot of mistakes. You know, we called too much, we called too loud, but we were trying to make a video, so sometimes you do that trying to get the action. The bird was very vocal. Eventually he did drift off. It probably settled down for about an hour or so. I got some more birds gobbling across the valley below us to our right and up the other hollow, and we could tell that they were making their way towards us. So eventually they come up the bank right behind the blind. Again, we're facing the wrong way, but we got the decoys out in front of us. So I continued to do a little bit of calling to try to call these toms past the blind and into the decoys where we could get a shot. But they were close enough, and again, when you're using decoys, they can be great. Sometimes when them gobblers get up there and they can see them, they expect those decoys, to come to the toms. So eventually I decided to shut up and let the birds drift off over the bank, and we was going to try to turn the blind around. Well, obviously I couldn't talk to Walter and tell him that that's what we was wanting to do. So he called a little bit more, and we just had to wait. Finally, he quit. We shut up. The birds left. We stood up. We turned the blind around. We repositioned, and I made a few more calls. The gobblers fired right back up, and they came right back in. So when they come up over the bank, there was actually 3 big gobblers again, and Bob was actually on the bird on the far right. But I was starting to film the one in the middle. I could see him the best. So you can hear me tell him to shoot the one in the middle. He did take the shot. It was a great shot. The bird went right down. Unfortunately, Bob had a scope on his gun, and when he shot and the gun kicked, the scope cut him. And he was bleeding pretty good there for a while. So I stayed back. I did take a shot at the second bird, and I saw him go down. But then I was concerned about Bob, so I stayed in the blind to make sure that he wasn't cut really, really bad. And luckily for us, he wasn't. We got the blood stopped, and he was very excited. That was a great day of hunting for him. He got to see several birds. They were gobbling hard. They were strutting. They did all the things that you want to see when you go turkey hunting. So he was very excited, and we were glad to tag along with him. Again, we want to thank you for watching this video. We really do appreciate your time. If you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Think about subscribing to our channel. Again, it doesn't cost you anything. Also on this channel, we got a lot of short videos underneath the shorts tab of a lot of different animals. Check that out. We really think you'll like it. We'd like to thank our military personnel. Thank you for your service. Now for a preview of an upcoming episode on Friend Outdoor Ventures.